Hi, I'm Mary, a librarian and book reviewer with a focus on stories written for kids, tweens, and teens. Today, I get to share with you this book called Two Adventures with Mom and Dad, Explaining Divorce to Young Children, written by Kelly Chang Rickert, CFLS, and illustrated by Tanya Campbell. This is the story of a little girl whose parents decide that they don't want to be living together anymore, so they're separating, and they're explaining it to her in a way that makes it seem a little bit less intense and a little bit more fun. So, even though mom and dad have decided that they're not going to be living together, they're still friends and their daughter is still at the center of their world. It just means they get to have more adventures together. She'll get to have some adventures with dad and some with mom, and they're still focused on their daughter's best interests the entire time. So, the author of this book is a family law attorney, and she has seen firsthand the effects that divorce can have on families, especially those with young children. So, she's written this book in order to help explain what's happening with divorce to those young children in a way that is accessible to them. So, the story is written in sentences that are easy to access, so they are not super complex. They have a loose rhyming structure, and they really focus on the emotions that families are feeling during this time. So, reminding children that they are still very important to their parents. It's not their fault that divorce is happening, and that there may be times when their experience is not as positive as others, but nobody's perfect. The thing that is perfect, though, is their love for their child. So, as you can see in this story, there are moments of happiness that brought them their baby. There are the pictures are really accessible also, so there's not a whole lot going on, and it really does focus on the emotions that people are feeling in those moments. I also appreciate that there are times when the illustrations show the parents doing things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily think as a descriptor for divorce, but it really works. So things like being in two separate boats, so they're still doing similar activities, they're still being polite to one another, but they're just not in the same space. So it gives a different sense of divorce than maybe comes across in other books. There is at the beginning a little message for parents from a retired family law judge, just about the things to kind of think about if you are a parent of a child and you've decided to get divorced. So things to consider as far as talking to the child, talking to or about the spouse, just to remind them that there are ways to do this in a way that that protects the child and their emotions as they're going through the situation. So this is a book that, even though it is written for young children to help them understand divorce, their parents are also going to get something out of this story as well. So if this sounds like something that would be important to you and your family, I hope you look for it at your favorite bookstore.